So hello and welcome. This is Erica Glessing and I am the host today. I am delighted to be interviewing Betsy McLoughlin. And Betsy is a change maker extraordinaire. She's a very gifted teacher and I'm very blessed to have her with us today. She's working on some concepts around releasing judgment like all of the other participants in the summit. And I just kind of was joyful to share Betsy's messages with you today. So, Betsy, you talk about a history that, sounds a lot like mine. Being raised in a family with a lot and heaps of judgment. So tell me a little bit about that and your journey of changing it.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me today. Yes, I did. I was raised in a house that was full of judgment. My father was a bigot and he was racist, and my mother judged pretty much anything and everything. And so I spent a lot of time either trying to hide and kind of deflect judgments or fighting against them. So as I grew up, I thought that for a while, I thought that I had managed to avoid judgment, because I swore that I would never, be a bigot.
You weren't racist, right? You weren't racist. You were, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So, totally resisting that. And then, as time went on, I realized that there were many other places that I did participate in judgment. So it's been quite an interesting journey to learn a lot about allowance for what people are choosing.
I have to tell you a funny story. I always interrupt. Don't worry.
Oh, please.
Yeah, I'm really good at that. A+. A+ at interrupting.
Yay.
I was sitting there and I can remember. So I adopted 2 children and I was building my family. I was pretty excited. We were at the dinner table and it was Thanksgiving. And I had thought really carefully about how to break this news to my mom that I was pregnant. And she had a firm belief, like she's like, look what they did in China to stop hunger. Everyone has 1 child or 2 children. That's it. That's it. Like replacement. You're only allowed to have enough children to replace your body when you leave.
Oh, wow.
I was like, well, that's confusing because, we adopted. So what does that mean? Do I get to have more? So, and yeah, there are all these rules in my house. So
yes.
I was scared to tell her. But it was good news because being pregnant when you haven't actually carried a child is like super exciting news.
Right.
And so, but I knew she was going to we set her up. But it was at this huge dinner table with all of like my brother and my dad and like my, ex at that time husband, and then my Isabel, my oldest, she was a baby, she's all cheerful, bouncy, happy child at that time. And we sat there and I said, well, I have news. I'm expecting. She was just the look on her face. Oh my God. Judgment. So isn't it fascinating? It's like being in allowance was like really not how our normal society functions. It's like we get these beliefs and then nothing is really in allowance. I mean, Nothing is really okay. It starts out in the morning, like when you look in the mirror. You're not in allowance of your body. And then you get up and you look at your husband. You're like, you're not allowance of how quickly or slowly he's taking out the garbage or isn't taking out the garbage or is doing the dishes or isn't doing the dishes or is smoking or isn't smoking or right. It's like whatever they do, we then judge them.
Yeah.
And then our kids wake up and then we judge them. It's like if you have kids, it's like, how come you're not ready faster? Or how come you're not this? Or how come you didn't wash your hair last night and now it stinks like you played hockey? No, I'm just kidding. Can't go like that. And it's like, wow. It's like, oh my goodness, that's a lot of change, right?
Yes, it's kind of just like this judgment machine that keeps churning judgment everywhere we turn, everywhere we look, we turn on the news or we look at a magazine, you know, you step outside, if you've managed to not judge anything like what you just talked about.
And I've been very enlightened. Imagine if I wasn't. Oh my God.
Right? I know. And, you know, and then we step out into the world and then we have all of that judgment and you hear it nonstop.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So
when you start shifting into allowance, tell us a little bit about that.
So allowance, thank you for that question. So allowance is where, excuse me, where you allow people to have whatever judgment and whatever point of view they have. And in doing that, and it allows you to not be in a constant state of, you know, ducking and defending and deflecting and putting up those walls and those shields. And it really does give you a different perspective on things.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't have, when you feel like you don't have to fix something or you don't have to defend for it or against it. And there's a wonderful saying that I heard one time. It's like being the rock in the stream and allowing the water, however rough or however quiet, to go around you. The rocks don't fight that water, right? They just allow that water to be whatever that water is. And so when you can be in that space of total allowance, the gift it gives to you and your life and the ease that it offers you is tremendous.
I love it. Thank you so much for that, Betsy. Okay. So I was going to ask you to kind of give us like a guided, like something I can use, like maybe I'd listen to this recording more than once, and something that just kind of guide me in like either some practices or some daily meditation, or, you know, if and I'll just take money for instance. Like if I wanted to not have judgment around money, can you just kind of just walk me through that?
Sure, absolutely. So any beliefs that you have around money, would you be willing to suspend those beliefs?
Okay.
Would you be willing to lower your barriers? And if anybody listening doesn't know what that means, you simply, you know, take a nice breath and just think about lowering those barriers. Just lower them, and they will lower. You don't have to have a magic wand or anything for those barriers to lower.
And also for our listeners, if you wanted to practice this fully, go ahead and say yes out loud or yes in your head when there's a question that asks for your permission to participate. So you don't have to do this, but if you choose to just jump in and let us play with you, then go ahead when Betsy asks the question, are you willing to lower your barriers? If it's a yes for you, go ahead and just say yes, affirm it. And this will just kind of keep opening you up to your own kind of greatness in this area.
Wonderful. Thank you. So lower those barriers some more and some more and some more. Now feel the space of expansion that you are now in. And in that space of expansion, are you willing to drop all your judgments and your points of view around money?
Yes.
And what I mean about that, thank you, is whether you feel like you don't have enough, whether you feel like you've got way too many bills and not enough money coming in. I've heard the people say, well, I have a lot of month left. You know, those kinds of sayings. Everywhere that every time you get a bill, you cringe, you don't open it, and everywhere you've got all those judgments and points of view, would you be willing to let those wash down that stream I just talked about?
Yes.
Let it all just wash away.
Yes.
Now, in that space of expansion, invite some gratitude into your life. Invite gratitude for your house that you're living in, whatever it is, wherever it is. Eliminate all the judgments of everything you think you don't have, or even that you do have, and be in the space of gratitude for the house that you live in. If you have a car, gratitude for that car. No matter what dings and scrapes and noises it might make, gratitude for that car that gets you where you want to go. And gratitude for the food in your refrigerator and the food that you consume, the people that you know, gratitude. And in that space, with those barriers down, in that space of gratitude, start asking questions without expecting an answer. Questions such as, what else is possible here beyond anything I've ever considered? Universe, show me what else is possible.
That's something I wanted to just kind of point out a little bigger real quick, even though this is such a lovely flow, is if money isn't the thing that's sticking you, maybe happiness is. You're here with us working on your happiness. You can ask these questions for happiness. What is it about happiness that I'm not getting? Or where is it in happiness in my life that I could not have so many points of view, or relax some of my attachments to being a certain way, or the judgment of I'll be happy when this happens.
Yeah.
And so it's always this holy grail. You know,
Yes.
It's always this holy grail. Happiness always this holy grail. And money, I see that way too. I'll be happy when I have this much money, or I'll be happy. And so it's always outside of us.
Right, the elusive.
It's always the elusive, yeah. Or when I make this calibration of facilitator, or when I make that calibration of teacher, or when I have this many people in my classes. It's like, I'll be happy when. And so we something I always like to help people on when they come to these sessions is just letting go of some of that baggage and some of that
yes.
And you can't really be in judgment and be in gratitude, Betsy.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
So when you're in that space of gratitude, there is no room for judgment.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. And in that space of gratitude and question, what else is possible? Who's looking for me? How many different sources of income can I pull in? Simply by being me.
Yeah.
What are talents and capabilities that I haven't even considered that could bring some money in? When you start asking those kind of questions, and again, without an expectation or an answer, allow the universe to start rearranging for those questions that you're asking. And it's amazing how it comes in.
Wow. I just want to pause that again, because when you're asking an open-ended question, the universe can rearrange itself.
It surely can.
Wow.
I know this firsthand. We've had many conversations about it. It's so wonderful. And it could be something like you get a bill that you thought was a bill, and you open it up and it's actually a credit. Like, I opened up my gas bill the other day and I had a credit. I didn't owe them anything. That's a form of money coming in, right? That I didn't have to pay that bill the next month.
True.
So all of those ways, having that gratitude and going, oh my gosh, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
How does it get better than this? And what else is possible? Those questions, if people would, like the people who are listening, if they would start asking those questions alone, it will change so much in your world.
I love it. Thank you so much. And let's see, there's still something I'd like to ask you. Let me see what's showing up for me. Well, I guess I've really watched you over the last, say, 2 years just pretty much change your life.
Yes.
In so many ways.
Yes.
And you've transitioned. Just it's been so much fun to be part of your life. Tell me a little bit, for those people listening, like what kinds of things they can do to shift and change, and because you really have so much now. You have the beautiful home, you have the career that you love, you do real estate, you do consciousness work and body work, and you have great friends, and
yes,
it's like, wow.
yes.
How's it getting any better than this?
I know. I do. I feel so blessed and so lucky and so grateful. And it doesn't mean that I'm not without the challenges that come along with life, and how I react to those, and I can even fall back into old patterns. And the difference is now I do have those questions that I mentioned to you, the how does it get better than this? Whatever the situation is, something that's giving you some heartache, or somebody around you is creating drama. And to be able to have those tools, that's what's changed my life. That being in that gratitude and being in the question and asking what else is possible beyond anything I can even imagine, and getting out of my own way of judgments and conclusions about that answer has shifted everything for me. And like you said, now I'm in a lovely single family home that I have desired to be in for over 20 years.
Wow.
And when I finally shifted and went, oh, maybe something's possible I haven't even considered.
Wow.
The universe jumped right into answer. And it was like, wow, thank you so much.
Well, I did something a little different. Like, I love how she's saying it was like so beautiful and everything. But I have to tell you, to get this house, I actually, what I was going through. So I asked for over 18 months. Mm-hmm. And I asked pretty much every day. Like, I was in a house that didn't work for me. And so I was like, okay, what would it take? What would it take? And then it was Thanksgiving last year, and my daughter, there she is.
You don't see me.
So she had this illness that it's just a really quick flu bug. A lot of people got it. And basically just, So she got this flu bug, and then we all got it like dominoes. Because I had 3 kids, so it was like boom, 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 blah, blah, blah. And then I got it. And so now the house I'm in really kind of reeks. Like, he can't help it, even though we're cleaning everything all the time. It's like, still, it was disgusting. It was like 4 days, everyone in the whole house having the flu. On the bright side, it saved me like $2,000 because I didn't have to go down to LA to a hockey tournament because we were all barfing. So we got from the trip. We didn't have to go. We were all like losing our cookies. So I was like, oh, we don't have to drive there. So the money I'd set aside for that trip was now just sitting in my account. And I went and I said, universe, bring me the house. Mm-hmm. I went into a demand. I got bigger with it. I was like, I've been doing, I don't know what, thinking about this problem for so long.
Right.
Remember? And I was just like, you know what? I said, that's it.
Yes.
It's done. So then I go out and I look at this house I'm in now, and it's seriously a dream house. And instead of seeing it as a dream house, well, it doesn't have this, kind of this. And I wasn't able to see its beauty, really. And I was actually like, so I was in this place of wanting to change, but then like rejecting everything that showed up that could change it, because it was such a big change. Yeah. So, and kind of rock and a hard place kinds of changes I was in. And so I just finally said, show me the house. So then it was really cool because I just sent the person who was taking care of this house a note. And I said, well, this is our situation. This is what I can do for a down. This is what I can do for monthly. This is what I can do. And it wasn't anything that I would expect a yes on.
Right.
And I threw it at her, and I was kind of like, and it was like, that'll work. I'm like, what? I mean, sometimes change happens like with all this like ease and grace, and you just say, oh, I'm letting go of this. Oh, I'm letting down my barriers, that. But sometimes you kind of have to be a little firmer with the universe,
Absolutely.
you know? And sometimes you just have to like say, that's it. I'm not going to have that person's judgments, you know, get in my way of my light anymore. Like you just have to kind of like, it feels like sometimes it's like all smooth and super easy and you ask generative questions and it's all mush. And sometimes it's like, I am having something different.
Absolutely. And making that demand, absolutely. And being willing to receive the demand that you make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you said, it doesn't show up the way you think it will sometimes.
No, and you could have gone to, you know, the house that you're in now. You said that, well, you know, at first you were like, well, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that. So you could have chosen to not receive that gift that the universe was giving you.
I know.
So.
And it's really been amazing. Like, all these things I judged would be hard, like the kids changing schools hasn't been hard.
Wonderful.
It's been like so easy. Because sometimes when there's like a rightness to things or a bigger light to things,
Yeah.
and we're being shown, it's actually like it really couldn't have been easier.
And, you know, wonderful.
Yeah.
How does it get better than that? And what else is possible? And what else does the desire to give to you?
Well, and that I love that whole thing about don't be in conclusion, because that's what that's kind of telling me right there is maybe someone will say, well, it's hard to change this, or it's hard to change that, or it's hard to do that. Well, how much have you bought into that? So then how much are you creating that? Because what if it isn't hard? And what if it's like a piece of cake? You know?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome, Betsy. Well, it was so much fun having you here today. You can find Betsy online. She also has a beautiful radio show that she does. So tell us a little bit about how we can find you.
Well, thank you so much. I have a website, creatingyumminess.com, which you can find me there. And like Erica said, I am a co-host on Imperfect Brilliance on the radio show the2zen.fm. You can find me on Facebook, and I look forward to hearing from you guys. Thank you so much for having me, Erica. Fun as always. I adore you. Bye. Thank you, everybody.